Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Stock Talk, series I make whenever I feel it's necessary, where we cover exciting news and price action in regard to some of the stocks we've been talking about on the channel. In today's case, we are talking cannabis. The sector's smoking hot right now, pun very intended, following a lot of regulatory clearance across the United States after these recent elections. It makes me happy to see some good news in the sector, you guys. I've been fundamentally bullish on cannabis for a very long time. Talked about it many times on the channel, made many a stock talk on it in the past. But unfortunately, it's been a while because the cannabis sector has been hurting over the past few months. So I'm just excited to see some good news around the sector, see some very exciting price action, which of course we'll get into. And I'm excited to share my thoughts around it with you guys. So as always, we'll go over each topic that we'll be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. This one is going to be very technically weighted, guys. A lot of charts. Again, the price action here is super exciting. The last time I saw moves like this, like you can see ACB like up almost 100% this morning. I haven't seen moves like that in the cannabis sector since 2018, since the great cannabis bubble, if any of you guys were around for that. But super high times, pun again right there. And I'm excited to talk about the charts specifically. So this will be very heavily weighted trading view, where we always look at our charts. We will go down the watch list here in this order: Aurora Cannabis, Tilray, Kronos, Canopy Growth, and Aphria. All a big fan of all these companies. Been following them for a long time, and again, you guys, I'm just pumped to see green in this sector once again. So we will look at the charts, but we will kick it off with this first interview. In the intro, you probably heard me. I mean, I just said it, but you guys, there's a lot of regulatory hurdles that were just wiped for cannabis. Huge green light for cannabis, and we'll just go over some of the highlights here. Like literally, just read the key points just to catch you guys up on what's going on in general. Jesus, prior to jumping into the charts. So let's just do that. But before we do, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you caught this ride on the cannabis sector early. Congrats to you if you did, or if you're excited about the future of cannabis, please give the video a like, helps out a lot, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. Truly appreciate that. Lastly, real quick, please check out the Complete Portfolio daily newsletter. Join the fam down below, first link in the description, if you want to know how I'm trading not only cannabis stocks but all the other sectors in the market. So complete breakdown of all my positions. With every update, every trading day, I also send out a newsletter talking about my trades, rationalizing my trades, and just giving you guys my thoughts on the market. So again, first link in the description if you're interested in that. If not, though, no worries at all. Let's get into this article. So Aurora Cannabis rockets 94% as projected Biden victory further boosts pot stocks. Again, you guys, the blue, the Democratic side, it's definitely, that side definitely favors cannabis more than the right. I think we can all agree with that. So again, we'll just go over these highlights quick. Aurora Cannabis launched as much as 94% higher on Friday. That's crazy. On Friday, after former Vice President Joe Biden was projected to win the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Democrats have previously said they aim to decriminalize marijuana at the federal level should a Biden administration materialize. Other Canadian pot producers, including Tilray, Aphria, and Canopy Growth, gained on the news. Watch Aurora Cannabis trade here live. So again, it's crazy how much it's interesting to me. So we'll get straight into Aurora. Obviously, we're kicking it off with Aurora. This was the biggest mover today. It's crazy that Aurora specifically was up almost 100%, almost doubled in a single day, because Aurora, of all of these stocks, again, I've been following the sector for a long time. I've traded these for a long time. I've just been a fan fundamentally, so I'm keeping my eye on them. Aurora is, of these five right here, my least favorite. So it is interesting to me to see that Aurora is doing the best. Like, their financials aren't that good. They're super in debt. Profitability isn't very, profitability for all these guys is still kind of in question, aside from Aphria and Kronos, in my opinion. At least last I checked. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong. But Aurora has always been in a tough spot. But as you can see, Aurora, we will zoom out here. Keep in mind, you guys, a lot of these charts look like this. As I told you, the 2018 bull market in cannabis was real. Like, if not crazier than the crypto bull market was the cannabis bull rally, you guys. I remember buying Tilray. So Tilray, a little story time here before we really dive into it. Tilray was the first pot stock to go live on the U.S. stock exchanges, which is super exciting. I remember buying Tilray in, I think, like March or April, whenever it IPO'd back in 2018. It was like spring to summer of 2018. I bought it for $20 a share. That's what it IPO'd at. And I watched it over time, and we went into like October, November, and these things shot up to, Tilray went up to over $200 per share. So it was crazy. Saw 10x there. Again, you guys, made a lot of my money in previous in my trading past, in my trading history, playing bubbles. That's why I really like bubbles. And Again, you guys, I like bubbles a lot too because especially after they pop like this, that they can do something again. Now, keep in mind, Aurora shares have been diluted over time. That was a big thing that happened a few months ago. I can't remember because time is just compressing together. Aurora shares did dilute, so you have to keep that in mind. But look, Aurora's all-time high back here, again, back in November of 2018 at its peak, was at $150, okay? And we just doubled, so we were at like $5. You're looking at, $150 to $5 is an insane correction. And keep in mind, you guys, Aurora is the most extreme version of that. But keep in mind, all of these charts, when you zoom out like this, look pretty similar. So while we're zoomed out, I'll just show you guys this green line right here, which I think will likely be the local high. Not the local high, I should say, but the more short term, the more medium term high if we continue to rally, okay? So you can see here, this high is at about $50, like $47, $50. We'll call it $50 just because that's a nice psychological even. I would be surprised to see that from here, but that's still a 10x, you guys. And again, as we zoom in here, you guys can see what just carnage took place over the past year. So Aurora, it doesn't surprise me to see this actually moves this volatile. Just because, again, we were at below $5, so we were at $4, you guys. That's crazy. We went from $150 back in 2018 to $4. That was a bubble. Like, that is a bubble that popped. So again, it just makes me happy to see that these guys are getting some love on the short-term time horizon. I think it's very possible to see Aurora. I believe they announced earnings. So they announced earnings on November 9th. That's very, very soon, you guys. Just like at the beginning of next week soon. Okay, so it's going to be very exciting to see what happens here. Again, Aurora's financials specifically have never been impressive to me. They've always struggled with their financials and profitability and whatnot. So you have to keep an eye there. You have to be very cautious here. What were their previous earnings? Let's take a look there. So again, here you guys, previous earnings, they had actual minus $12.20. Like, these are terrible earnings. So Q1 of 2020, they actually had a profit, which is great, which is good for them. But you guys, these are tragic earnings calls. Like, the minus $12.24 per share is tragic. I'm gonna focus myself real quick. Sorry about that. But minus $12.24 per share is tragic, you guys. So be careful with that. If they do disappoint on earnings, I think we'll probably pull back down to this area where it gapped up. A big reason I have this orange line here, you guys, I think this will be, you can see it used it just today as a line of resistance, and that's because I think that's because obviously you can see a lot of support and resistance around this area right here, but that's where it gapped up initially back in May 18th, May 19th. That's my birthday. So it gapped up over there, and if you guys aren't familiar with gap trading is used among a lot of traders. It does hold a lot of, I never prioritize gaps by any means, but a lot of traders use it, and that's because it is telling a lot of the time. Okay, so it gapped up. It used this previous gap from May as a line of resistance, and obviously this area as well. Popped off there. It did correct significantly, so it was at $12, corrected down to like a $9.50. So significant correction over the course of the day. It wouldn't surprise me to see, depending on whether or not Aurora impresses on earnings next week. So that's what, Monday or Tuesday is the 9th. So it's very soon. If they impress significantly on earnings, I think we could just shoot straight up to this previous high that we saw back in May. Because the fundamentals are there. If they report a good, promising earnings call, I think we could easily come back up to this $20 level, along with all the fundamental momentum in just cannabis being legalized across the country. I think we could easily come there. If they disappoint, we'll probably come to this area where we gapped up just today. Just again, back to the gaps. That would bring us down to like the $820 level. At that point, if the cannabis sector continues to rally, I wouldn't be surprised if after we bounce off this level, maybe go sideways, we'll ultimately come up to test these May highs. But that is going to be very, very dependent on their earnings and their outlook. I have to imagine the outlook for all these companies when they announce earnings is going to be positive, just because of all the news in terms of regulatory clearance. Okay, so that's Aurora. Moving on to Tilray. Again, you guys, there's going to be a lot of similarities here. So Tilray, I think this is from the last stock talk we did, so that's how long it's been. It's been since June. So yeah, I guess late May, June is the last time we made a stock talk, which is crazy. It's crazy how fast this year is going. It's crazy how fast time can fly when you're just on lockdown. I can't even say I'm on lockdown, to be honest. But you guys know, the world is just kind of slowed down. or I mean, it's slowed down, but it feels like it's like this year is just flying by. So anyway, that's the last time we talked about it. From a technical perspective, it's hard to tell with Tilray. So with Tilray, I'm actually just gonna, I think this is the most likely area that we're gonna come up to in Tilray, and I think this is actually pretty likely. So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, we shot up on Tilray. Tilray up to $12 this morning, corrected significantly down to $9.63. So you guys, I think the reason that Aurora and Tilray specifically saw such big moves is because these are the names that most people know in the sector. Like Tilray, again, Tilray was the one that kicked off the cannabis rally back in 2018. Again, the first stock to the U.S. equity markets. And then all the rest just followed. And then Aurora was kind of in second place. So these are the most kind of as household as pot stock names get. These are the two kind of like the ones that everyone knows, and then you ultimately stumble upon these other ones as you do more research and digging. And these two are actually my least favorite stocks in this sector, and then the last three are the three that I personally like more than that. But Tilray, from a technical perspective, there's not much trend lines to look at here. So that's the thing. When things go parabolic like this, it's kind of hard to break them down technically, but Tilray, there's a huge ceiling around this area right here, a significant area of support as it's acted in the past. At the beginning of this year, February, is using the $15 level as a line of support. It would make sense to me. $15, like that's just again kind of a psychological even when you're working with these smaller numbers, because I keep overexposing. Sorry. So it makes sense to me for Tilray to ultimately come up. You guys, it's, again, even today corrected, will probably go sideways around this area for a little bit. But ultimately, I think we could easily pop up to 15. But also keep in mind, you guys, I think when Tilray's earnings are coming up on November 9th too. So this will be very interesting to see if they are. So Tilray's earnings have been very like minus 215, minus 170, minus 65. Earnings very dependent on the outcome. But again, they all have kind of that outlook angle just because of the regulatory hurdles that were just completely obliterated for them. So that's huge. We'll have to see here how it plays out. It's going to be very interesting to watch earnings. So Kronos, this is a stock that I like personally. Kronos, I actually just look back at these and have drawn on these fairly recently. So Kronos, you can see here, this was a line of support, and this is the line of resistance on what was an ascending channel. It makes sense to me that both of these are going to be new lines of resistance. So Kronos, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Kronos come up to this $9 level, probably bounce off here, and then if the cannabis sector continues to rally, it will very likely come up to test this level, which would bring us to about $12.50. And again, Kronos, you guys, I've always liked Kronos. Kronos has been, so you can see here, yeah, Kronos has been a lot more profitable over time. So you see a profit. This was pretty bad, but profit. And just looking at the trend here, like a lot of times earnings, you guys work in trends just like charts. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially considering so many people have been consuming more cannabis, and people are just going to continue to consume more and more cannabis. Similar to crypto, you guys, I talk about crypto all the time. Like it's still very early. Although we've been through bubbles, although we've been through cycles, it's still super early. We're going to keep seeing these cycles play out. And I think we could very well be in the beginning of a new cycle. So that's very exciting there. And when do they announce on next earnings call is May 3rd. There's no way that's true. So I'm going to have to look at that. But regardless, if the rest of the sectors a lot of times move in unison, especially as more people are like, oh my God, Aurora Cannabis is awesome. What other weed stocks are out there that are lagging? That they're going to find like stocks like Kronos, stocks like Aphria, and then jump into those. So that's my kind of logic there. But again, I think short term we could easily come up to the $9 level in Kronos. Medium term will probably come up to like the $12, $13 level. And again, you guys, give or take, it depends on when they hit these trend lines. You guys know the deal. So Canopy Growth, very similar to Kronos right here. You can see these previous lines of what was support and resistance right here. This is going to be a very strong line of resistance for Canopy, I think. Not strong, but definite. I would be very surprised if we don't correct off of this. That would bring us to like $28 in the short term, probably bounce down. And then if we extend this out, if we go up to test this trend line right here, that would bring us up to about $35 for Canopy. Canopy is actually the largest pot stock by market cap. And it's crazy. I remember a time when Canopy was worth like tens of billions of dollars. Now it's $8.7 billion. But they are the largest pot stock. Let's take a look at there. So their earnings are, wow, that was bad. So their earnings are not terrible, but not good. They're still not profitable. So Canopy, although it is the largest by market cap, their earnings still aren't impressive. They still aren't profitable. So that's a very important thing to remember as well. So again, those are just following basic trend lines here, guys. I think they're gonna prove to be very worthy. Aphria is my personal saving the best for last. This is my favorite stock in the cannabis market, and this goes with a lot of very competent analyst gradings too. Look at Aphria's earnings right here. So Aphria actually isn't as impressive as I remember. Why? Maybe I was thinking of Kronos. Sorry, guys. I think I was thinking of Kronos. But way less significantly bad than many of these other companies. So you're seeing here, obviously, they all had a really bad Q4 2019. But right here, negative 6 cents isn't terrible. They had a profit right here of 2 cents, which is pretty good. But Aphria, with a market cap of, where's their market cap at? Sorry, market cap of 1.5 billion. They're still a very small company. Aphria, I think they have the most solid team. I've watched a lot of like documentary because I remember I've played these stocks a lot, and I've done a lot of research in the past on these. And I remember of all of these, I was personally the most impressed with like the Aphria's team and like some of the videos I watched on their facilities and whatnot. Aphria had like looked the most solid to me, and I still like them. I like these technicals too. I think there's not much of a there's not much of a line of support here like the other ones, like that goes fairly straight. So I think with Aphria, just because I'm so fundamentally bullish on Aphria over these others, when did they announce earnings? January 14th. I feel like that can't be right either. Maybe it is. Maybe they just announced. No, I feel like these have to be earlier. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But regardless, I think Aphria, it's very, very likely that we come up on Aphria to test this ascending, like this is a very nice, very clean line of resistance. You get 3 points of contact right here, forming a very solid uptrend, and I think it's very likely for Aphria, again, if the cannabis sector continues to rally and do well, for Aphria to come up to like the $8 level. If it tests it again early December, it depends. If we hit it in January, mid-January, it'd be $9. If we hit it tomorrow, which is very unlikely, it'd be like $7.90, $8. So you guys get the point there. I just think, like so many other sectors in the market, you guys, it's very important that to remember that a lot of this will rely on the earnings of Aurora and Tilray, that are coming up on Monday. So keep a close eye on those. If they impress in earnings, you guys, it's very likely that this entire sector will rally. And I think it's very likely that we hit all of these lines of resistance on these uptrends that I just showed you guys and that I just shared with you. So very excited again, you guys. It just makes me happy because I've been a fan. I'm not a big user. Like, I smoke at night sometimes. I don't like. I'm not. I used to be a stoner. I used to smoke significantly more than I do now. Now I'll smoke like maybe once a week at night. So I have other vices in my life now. I don't smoke that much. I don't like the way it makes me feel anymore. I like smoking and crashing out, but I definitely cannot smoke and function like I used to when I was a young buck. Those days are over. But still, fundamental, just from a business perspective, I mean, weed makes so much sense. Just look around. Like, so many people are smoking much more weed. It's becoming significantly more normalized than it has been, and that's a good thing. And it should definitely be decriminalized. I think it's ridiculous that it's criminalized, because although I can no longer function properly on weed and be a productive human being, many people can. It's a chemical. It affects everyone different. That goes for literally every substance you put in your body. It does affect everyone in different ways, and especially, I mean, you guys know, like coke and meth. Like, I wouldn't even classify those into the statement that I just made. But something like weed, it's natural. Like, it affects different people differently. To each their own. Whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, do it. So sorry for that little rant there, but I hope you guys like this. Let me know what stocks in this sector. There's a lot of stocks. I played a lot in the 2018 bull run. I remember playing a lot of weird little penny stocks in this market. So be careful with those, you guys. You never, like, there's a lot of shady ones. I'll just tell you that. So be careful around some of the penny stocks that you might find. I'm not saying they won't rip, because they for sure can. I can tell you from firsthand experience. But they're dangerous. I like these guys. I like the 5 we talked about today. Just stick to these guys and play the long game with these. Because yeah, very bullish fundamentally that a lot of the regulatory hoops have been wiped out. But again, let me know what stocks you're excited about, what you're excited about in the sector. If you're a night smoker like me, literally whatever you want to talk about. So always love talking to you guys, and I'll catch you downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.